My son tore through my book bag on our camping trip and screamed, "Where's my Taylor Swift body pillow?" I sat him down on a log. "I threw it out, honey. You're 8. It's not healthy to be that attached to a pillow." He pointed at me like a tiny lawyer. "Then I'll find a new one." I laughed. "Buddy, we're in the woods." He stormed back into the tent. "You'll see." I just rolled my eyes. But at 2 a.m., I woke up to the sound of footsteps running away from the tent, and there was a note on top of his sleeping bag. I went to find a body pillow. "Be back soon." I scrambled out of the tent with the flashlight. "Caleb, where are you?" I looked down and saw small footprints in the mud, heading straight for the swamp. I ran after them until the footprints stopped in the water, and my flashlight found my son lying on a crocodile. A real 12-foot crocodile, his head on its ribs, his arm draped over its back. 4 more piled around him like 4 body pillows. I was shaking so hard the light bounced. "Caleb," I whispered, "walk to mommy, slowly." His eyes slid open, and he'd been awake the whole time. "No." I stretched my hand out over the mud. "Baby, those are crocodiles. They could kill you at any moment." He propped himself up on its side like a headboard. "I'll get up, but it's gonna cost you." I nodded like a maniac. "Yes, okay, anything." He grinned. "I want the big Taylor Swift body pillow back, the $60 one, and you can never take it, ever." A crocodile's tail slid across the mud toward him. I screamed, "Deal! We have a deal! Just walk away, please." He stood up slowly, brushed the swamp off his pajamas, and stopped right in front of me. "You thought I wouldn't find another body pillow out here, but I found 5. Then he turned around, patted the crocodile on the snout, and told it goodnight. "You're no Taylor, but you were still nice to cuddle with." My son tore through my book bag on our camping. I spoke into the drive-through mic. "What food would you like today, ma'am?" She marched up to my window with her fists clenched. "You think just because I'm a big woman that I want food all the time? This is exactly the type of stereotyping that hurts the fat community." I pointed at the glowing menu board behind her. "Ma'am, this is a Wendy's drive-through." But the woman was angry, and I knew she wasn't leaving without a fight. She reached back into her car door and held the horn down. "We'll see what your manager thinks about you profiling customers." My heart was pounding with adrenaline because there was a huge line of cars forming behind her, and I didn't know if she was going to convince my manager that I did something wrong. My manager, Dave, came out wiping his hands on his apron, and she grabbed his sleeve before he could reach me. "Your employee practically called me fat to my face, and then proceeded to stereotype me based on my weight. I want her fired, and I'm calling corporate." Dave cleared his throat. "Ma'am, I heard the entire thing. She asked you if you wanted food, because, and I'm not saying this to be disrespectful, ma'am, but this is a Wendy's drive-thru." I breathed a sigh of relief, but she crossed her arms because this still wasn't the fight she wanted. "That doesn't prove anything." Dave stepped aside and waved his arm at the menu board like a game show host. "Okay, so, would you like any food?" She stared at that board for a long moment, stomped back to her car, pulled forward 6 inches, and mumbled out her window. "This isn't over. I already ate today, so I'm not eating much. I'll take an Asiago Ranch Club sandwich, classic combo, with no lettuce or tomato, extra cheese, Baconator fries with extra bacon and extra cheese, a Cinnabon pull-apart, a brownie batter chocolate frosty swirl with extra chocolate, a pineapple mango lemonade, and apple bites because I'm on a diet." I could barely hold back my laugh, and my manager did his best to keep a straight face. "Okay, ma'am, and to apologize for the trouble, we'll throw in a Frosty on the house." She nodded so hard her fat rolls were vibrating. Now that's what I'm talking about. She got back in her car, and when we handed her the food, she snatched the bag out of my hand like she'd just won. As soon as she drove away, I turned to my manager. The only battle she's fighting is her heart fighting to stop her from going into cardiac arrest. I spoke into the My sister Maureen begged me to let her borrow my car to haul her stuff to the dump, but since she'd wrecked 3 cars in the last year, I told her I'd drive her myself. As she slammed my trunk shut, I got a text from an unknown number. "Please don't do this. I will give you anything you want." I typed, "Sorry, wrong number," and drove off. But once I hit the highway, another text came through that said, "Please, Maureen, please don't kill me." My skin crawled because my sister's phone number was 1 digit apart from mine, and the sender must have entered my number instead. "You need to drive faster. This is taking too long." I needed to find out what she was doing to the person texting me, and fast. Maureen scrolled Facebook on her phone, and my hands shook as I texted, "This is Maureen's sister. What's going on?" The 3 dots appeared instantly. I didn't know her husband was married, I swear, and now she's going to kill me. Please help. Maureen drummed her fingernails on my dashboard, and I swallowed. "Okay, are you somewhere safe? I can try to distract her from getting to you." Road signs flew past me, and I tried to find the closest exit with a drive-thru I could stall at. At that moment, I heard a thunk from my trunk, and then another. I held back a scream as I realized that Maureen wasn't just threatening this girl. She was literally going to throw her away, and she was expecting me to help. Maureen cleared her throat and turned the music up. "Keep driving." I sped up to 90 miles per hour, hoping we'd get pulled over, but after a few minutes, we reached the dump and the expected final resting place of my extra passenger. "Pull up next to the pit and pop the trunk." Maureen dragged a black contractor bag out of the car, and it wiggled and squirmed. "Help me with this one, will you?" I picked up one end, and we carried the bag to the lip of the pit. On 3, she swung the bag back and forth as she counted up, but then I let go as it swung back, and the bag landed away from the pit with a thud. Without thinking, I pushed Maureen backwards over the lip, and she fell 12 feet down into the garbage pile. I helped the girl out of the bag, and we looked over the edge. You're both dead. You hear me? Dead. I dialed 911 and put on my best sob. Please hurry. My sister fell in the pit at the dump, and my friend and I don't know what to do. I ended the call. You can't kill the people who saved your life without looking suspicious, can you, sis? Maureen screamed as the girl and I high-fived and saved each other in our contacts. My daughter jumped over the rows of people to get to the front of the hockey game. She yelled back up at me, "If a puck comes over, I'm catching it. 3 years of practice is finally going to pay off, Mom." I cheered and had no idea if she was going to catch one or not, but then number 19 threw one straight into her glove. But before she could even celebrate, a boy twice her size shoved her and ripped it out of her hands. I pushed down the aisle, but a wall of jerseys stopped me while she picked herself up alone. Number 19 skated straight back, tapped the glass, and flipped her a second puck. "Don't worry, kid. I know what it feels like to get pushed around." A smile instantly lit her face, and my heart was warm, but this time, a grown man reached over her head and snatched it out of the air. My daughter was in tears, but player number 19 had his fists clenched and whispered something at his bench. An usher opened the Zamboni gate and waved my daughter onto the ice. Her jaw dropped, and the audience cleared the way for her to sprint down. The boy and man who'd stolen from her looked so shocked I thought their eyes were going to pop open. When she made it to the bottom, 2 defensemen lifted her onto their shoulders, and 19 passed a fresh puck up into her glove off his blade. He turned to her. "You didn't deserve that. Here you go." For a second, she raised the puck over her head, but then her arm wound back and she threw it to a little boy standing in her old spot at the glass. "Don't worry, I know what it feels like to get pushed around." For a second, I was confused, but then she turned back to 19 to explain. "He got pushed trying to help me when everyone was stealing it. He deserves it more than me. 3 years of practice for that puck, and she gave it away in 3 seconds. 19 wiped his eyes with his glove and looked up at her. "You're a special kid. You know that?" She tugged his jersey. "Don't cry, nice man. You're special too." My daughter jumped. I was taking pictures with my 2 closest friends on a golf cart when one friend turned around. "I saw you DM my boyfriend, you hoe. Now you're gonna get what you deserve." My cheeks clenched because I never did that. But before I could say anything, she jumped out of the moving cart going full speed. Then the driver jumped out too, leaving me in the back by myself, realizing they set me up. And when I looked ahead, I screamed. A massive group of old people stood right in my path. My heart raced as the cart flew closer, close enough to see the old people sipping champagne and laughing. If I hit them, I'd kill them. So I scrambled into the driver's seat, grabbed the wheel, and stomped every pedal. But nothing worked. It was too late. I braced myself as the cart barreled into the crowd, launching old people into the air like bowling pins, canes, and champagne flying everywhere. When it stopped, an old woman shrieked from the ground. "This gala was to cure sick children, and you ruined it, you ninny." A man in a suit stormed over. "I'm the best lawyer in this county, and you'll pay every cent of the $50,000 you destroyed." I threw my hands up. My friends left me back there. I was trying to stop it, but right then, my 2 friends limped in and collapsed to the ground. "She was driving like a maniac. She threw us off and tried to hit you all for fun." Every face turned to glare at me as the lawyer pulled out his phone to call the police. My eyes watered. My whole life ruined over something I didn't do. Then I saw my friends smirking at each other, certain they'd won. But then I remembered something that'd change everything. "Wait, I have pictures that prove I wasn't the one driving." My friends' smiles dropped as I held up my phone. The old people squinted, then gasped. Both my friends were sitting up front, and I was in the back, nowhere near the wheel. They were driving. They jumped out and left me. Just then, the police arrived, and the lawyer spun around and pointed right at them. "I'll be taking you 2 to court for everything you own." The old woman shook her cane. "I want my $50,000, you ninnies." My friends shot up off the ground, suddenly healed. As the cops hauled them away screaming, I whispered, "By the way, that DM was from a spam bot." I was taking pictures. My surf instructor told me I couldn't get in the water with a prosthetic leg. "Liability issue," he said. "If something happened, I wouldn't be able to swim back to shore." I smiled, said okay, and paddled out anyway. He came after me, shouting over the waves to come in before I hurt myself or someone else. I was already standing. He pulled alongside me, still yelling, reached over to grab my board, and that's when I saw the fin. The shark hit his board from below and launched him sideways into the water. He stayed under long enough that I started counting. When he finally came thrashing up, he was grabbing at anything within reach. His hands found my ankle. I felt the pull before I heard it, a hard pop, like a cork, and he broke the surface, waving my prosthetic in the air while the shark disappeared with his leg, his actual leg. I hauled him onto my board and kicked us back to shore on one leg, mine. He lived. He lost the leg just below the knee and has not been near the ocean since. The surf school needed someone to cover his classes. I start Monday. My surf instructor. While driving home from date night, my husband screamed, "Watch out," and swerved into a ditch. Next thing I knew, I was in a hospital bed listening as the doctors told my husband, "Your wife is in a coma." I remember my chest going cold because I could hear everything around me. My husband crying, the machines beeping, but I couldn't move no matter how hard I tried. My husband took my hand, but then the doctors left, and I heard my husband instantly pull out his phone. The plan worked. "She's in a coma. List our house for sale right now. I'll forge her signature if I have to. It will all be over in 7 days." My heart dropped through my stomach as I tried to understand what he was doing. I listened to him tell whoever he was on the phone to move money from our joint account and sell my car, and he kept repeating, 7 days. I wanted to scream because the man I'd married was betraying me while I was in a coma, but my body stayed still. He got off the phone and whispered in my ear, thanks for everything, darling. Now I'll go be with the woman I actually love. I listened to his footsteps moving away, and then I heard it. He kissed someone, and I realized he was making out with his mistress, 5 feet from his comatose wife. For the next 7 days, every time the doctors came in, he would grip my hand and cry, acting like the heartbroken husband, then immediately start making phone calls once they left. I felt like a caged animal because I knew once I woke up, I would expose him. But then on the 7th day, he laughed. Today's the day. I heard him pull something from his pocket and call out, doctor. Doctors ran in, and I heard the sound of him placing paper in their hands. This is a document my wife wrote 2 years ago. It states if she ever goes into a coma, she downloaded a ghost radar app at 3 a.m. and it pointed at the room in the hallway. My older brother Zick rolled his eyes. It's just picking up our phone signal. Ghosts aren't real. My little brother grabbed the phone and ran into the kitchen. Look, every time the phone goes somewhere else, the green dot stays by the door. There really is a ghost in there. We all crept down the long hallway together, and the dot flashed brighter with every step. I looked over at Zick, and even he was shaking. We heard a slow, dragging sound behind the door, and we all grabbed each other in fear. Zick grabbed the back of my shirt and whispered, let's just go back to bed. It's the one room in the house no one ever goes into. But my little brother laughed. You're a baby. I knew you'd be too scared to go through with this. I clenched my fists because I was sick of being pushed around by my brothers. Fine, I'll open it, but only if I get control over the TV remote for 2 weeks. They both groaned and nodded, but when I put my hand on the doorknob, I heard scratching sounds against the window, and I didn't even know if the TV remote would be worth it. But I shut my eyes. Here goes nothing. The door swung open, and when I opened my eyes, a homeless man was sitting against the far wall, a blanket pulled up to his chest, his phone plugged into our socket, with food wrappers scattered all around him. My brothers gasped, and he stared right at me. You 3 are usually asleep at this time, he said calmly. A person had been living in the room at the end of our hall, and the ghost radar app found him using his phone signal. All 3 of us screamed for our parents, but the homeless man just shrugged. I guess my time here is up. And as he walked out, the green dot was still sitting right on him. I won the remote for 2 weeks, but he'd had way longer, with all 3 of us asleep down the hall. I downloaded a ghost radar app at 3. I was in the living room filming the viral Get Sturdy dance when my dad got up off the couch and said, I always been a dancer, watch this. He tried one move and nearly threw his hip out, grabbing the counter to catch himself. I laughed so hard I fell on the carpet. Dad, you can't move like you used to. He stood up straight, fixed his shirt, and looked me dead in the eye. I used to kill it at every party back in my day. I'm going to become the best dad TikTok dancer. I kept laughing, but he just smirked. Watch me. That weekend, he came home carrying a ring light and one of those electronic tripods that spins to follow you while you dance. Dad, what is all that for? He set the boxes down and said, I've been researching the creator meta. That night, I walked past the garage and he was drilling the same 15 seconds over and over in front of a full-length mirror, sticky notes of trending sounds all over the wall. His first video got 40 views, and I caught him on the couch rewatching it himself, but he kept posting every day, and by Friday, he shoved his phone in my face because one of his videos cracked 10,000 overnight. He rewarded himself with a new phone just for filming. That Saturday, me and my friend were filming the Savage dance, the one with all the hair flips and hip rolls, and my dad asked to jump in. We laughed in his face, but this time he did the entire thing in one take. Every hit cleaner than ours, hair flip and all, with the most serious face I've ever seen. We posted it and it blew up overnight, except every comment was about him. By the end of the week, my own dad had more followers than me, and I was the one asking him which sounds were trending. A few days later, I came home from school and heard music blasting from the garage. I opened the door and my whole friend group was in there under his ring light, taking dance lessons from my dad. He was walking down the line calling counts, and when the beat dropped, he hit the same move that almost took him out in the living room. Clean, no counter, no stumble, and my friends started screaming like he was famous. That night, I found him on the couch, right where it all started. Okay, you got lucky. I'm still the better dancer though. He didn't even look up, just turned his phone around. His follower count was double mine. Then he stood up, hit one slow hip roll on his way out of the living room, and said, told you to watch me. I was in the living